Okay, we are back for the second part of Chapter 8, the business plan, the initial chapter. And we are going to go over, we're going to be talking through Table 8.2, which is on page 222 in your textbook. So you may want to turn there as you're going through the video here. And I'm also going to be referencing one of the business plan templates that I uploaded to Blackboard. It is the one that is titled, let's see, business plan for a startup business. It's a Word document. It's about 28 pages long. So you may want to have that pulled up also, and certainly pause the video so that you can flip back and forth between the text and the Word document that I'm referencing. So the authors of the text here give a good business plan outline that you can go by. There are some areas of a business plan, whether you use their outline or whether you use the template that I provided from SCORE or some other template that you find, it's fine. But regardless of which one you or others may choose to do, they're going to have different looks to them depending on what your goal is, and even some little what seemingly small things, like for example, the first thing that the authors have listed here is a cover letter. That may be necessary sometimes. If you're sending a business plan to someone, then certainly you would want to include some text about an explanation. Nice to meet you the other day, if you have met them before. Hopefully you have, if you're providing a business plan to them, or some other talking points in the cover letter. However, if you're delivering this in person, the cover letter is not as important, and that's the case here with us with this course. Cover letter is not important here, so don't worry about spending too much time struggling over what to say there. You will need a title page though, and in the template, the title page is page 2 here. You may choose to list the name of the business, the owners of the business, and certainly an address. And you don't have to have an actual address. You don't even necessarily need to use your home address or the school's address or anything. You can make up an address. 123 Main Street is fine. Even don't have to include a real telephone number, but certainly include something here. Whether it's 212-555-5555, just keeping with the theme of a complete plan. Those things should be included. Okay, the first section after that, according to the authors of your textbook, as well as the template that we're working through here, is the table of contents. And you'll see in the sample template that I provided, the gray highlighted links. If you hold down your control button and click those, it will jump to that section of the business plan. So it helps you if you save your work and you come back at a later time and you want to quickly get to it, you can control and left click your mouse and you will jump to that section. So it's an easy way to get back to where you want to be. And you'll also want to be aware that you'll need to update the links so that, for example, if you add pages, you will, let me give you an example here. It shows that, for example, my numbering sequence is not correct here, but let's say the marketing plan started on page 25. Well, your products and services, you added 2 pages to it, so that now the marketing plan really should start on page 27. So you'll need to update the numbering sequence there, and the way to do that is to right click it and click the update field, and then it'll give you a pop-up window that says Update Table of Contents. The best thing to do is to update the entire table, and that will pull in and account for any additional pages that you've added or pages that you have taken out. So it takes that into account automatically. Certainly, once you're done, you will want to go back and double check it. You don't want errors. If you were turning this into a banker or to a prospective banker that was going to lend you money, a prospective investor, one of the things, they may not go through looking at pages, but if by chance they happen to notice that the marketing plan is on page 7, and so they flip to page 7, they see it's actually page 10, that's going to be a red flag to them. This person doesn't pay attention to detail. So you do not want to start off your presentation with that negative, with that strike against you. So certainly the same is true here with this course. I expect that that those page numbers are going to match up. You may think that that's a small thing, but I'm telling you it's not. Okay, so after the table of contents, the next section that that they talk about, that the authors recommend, is the executive summary, and the same is true in the template here. And excuse me for a moment here, I'm going to jump to the executive summary section. And in the template, it recommends that this section is written last, and I'll give you the reason for that. A lot of people will use this as a way to kind of get them started, to sort of jumpstart the rest of the plan. However, I mentioned in a previous video that there are two things that prospective investors or bankers that are going to lend you money will look at. They are the financial plan and the marketing plan. Well, the executive summary is the third thing. They may look at this. This may be the very first thing that they look at to try to get just a broad overview to even know if they want to look at your financials and your marketing plan. So this needs to be a brief summation of your entire plan. Well, you can't know what that's going to be, what your summation should be, until you've written the whole plan. Now, that's not to say that this should be a 5-page document. It shouldn't. The authors of the text say 1 to 2 pages. Certainly, I think the template here says that they recommend 2 pages or fewer. So again, 1 to 2 pages. This is a summary, as the name implies, executive summary. It's not meant to be a recounting of half of your plan. Those that you'll be giving the plan to will not put up for that. They're not going to spend the time, reading a 14-page summary. That's not a summary. Okay, so the next section the authors talk about is the company itself. And in your template, it says general company description. And certainly go through the template here and spend some time looking at the recommendations. These are professionals that put this together, and they've got some good pointers in there to help guide you along the way. And if you have questions, post them on the discussion board. I would encourage other students, as you have recommendations, to answer those questions. I'll do my best to answer those questions as well. The text also goes through the different sections, starting on page 224. They're very brief in some cases, though. For example, the executive summary, there on page 224, it just says many entrepreneurs write the 1 to 2 page executive summary first, using it as a guide, and then write the rest of the plan. We discussed this we discussed the executive summary early in this chapter. So you want to flip back to where they spent more time on it there. And let's see where that was. Okay, on page 218, actually, they go into more detail about your executive summary and how you can construct that from the remainder of the plan. But following goes into explanation about The other sections, your company, the product or service that you're offering, the market that you will be offering that to, and that will be contained in the marketing plan section, or what they call the market. It's their number 6 is the market. On the template, it's number 5 is marketing plan. A lot of the same things will be covered there. The main thing you want to make sure that you're covering is what you're producing. Excuse me. That's a part of the company. The products and services. Actually, your marketing plan. You want to identify your target customers, and you want to differentiate yourself. Tell why those individuals are going to choose you over your competitors. You'll talk about your pricing strategy, your sales plan, any discounts that you may offer to incentivize customers to come with you. In the early days of your business, those kind of things are all going to be a part of the marketing plan. Okay. The next section that they mention here is the organization, and the template similarly calls it the operational plan. Those are things that, how you're going to run the business, basically. What are some of the legal aspects, the things that you took into account, made sure that you had your bases covered, basically. Where you're going to be located. If you have certain store hours that you're going to operate, are you going to be open to the public? You may be a certain type of business that actually gives tours of your facility. Most businesses don't do that, obviously, but those kind of things will need to be detailed out here in the operational plan. Okay, and then in the authors of the text list key personnel as a part of their section 7 there, the organizational plan. However, in the template, it's listed as, it has its own tab, its own Roman numeral section. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You choose, as long as you have that segmented out somewhere, set aside, showing that these are the individuals that either have agreed to come on board with me, or that you will be targeting for key positions. Certainly want that information in the plan, because it's important to anyone that will be giving you money. The next sections, the text, section number 8, the financials. There are several parts to that. On your template, it's got just two parts to that. I think, let me scroll down here. No, actually 3. When I've done this in the past, I have combined the template sections 8, 9, and 10 into one. Depending on the type of business that you have, and are seeking, the amount of capital that you're seeking, you may or may not choose to include a personal financial statement. If you are seeking money from bankers, certainly they're going to want to see how financially stable you are. It's a sign to them on on a number of levels. Whether you're putting that money into the business or not, it's a signal to them about your stability. Investors, maybe not so much. The bankers, they want to make sure that you have the capacity to repay at least a portion of the money that you're borrowing. Additionally, I'll tell you this: bankers really like capital asset purchases. And what that means is, if you're taking the money and you're buying something with it. You're not just paying salaries. You're buying equipment. You're buying buildings, other tangible assets that they can get back and sell, even if it's at a discount, in case you default on your loan. Those are the kind of things that bankers are going to be looking for in a plan. Otherwise, in this environment, it's going to be very tough to. It is going to be tough to get a loan from a banker. Investors may view that a little differently, but it's still good to show certainly how you're going to make use of the money that they're giving to you. So those three areas can be collapsed down into one if you like. There are some spreadsheets in there that help you identify some startup expenses and capitalization, as well as the plan for growth for your business. I believe that's in section 10 of the template, the financial plan. But again, that can be collapsed down, but you'll want to detail that out for at least 5 years, preferably up to 10 years of information, the spreadsheets showing the progression of when expenses will arrive in the business, and when you're going to start making money, and then what the bottom line number is when you're going to start turning a profit. Those are the things that are very important to the bankers and to the investors. And as I said in a previous video, I want you to document these things, and I'll give you an example here. I wish I could show you this in the video. I don't have the capability of this. The Tegrity video is not working well for me, so I apologize for that. I can't show you this alongside of the video here, but I'm going to scroll down a plan that I've done in the past and find an example of a footnote that I included that was very important in showing the worth of the business and the business plan. Examples would be news articles, magazine articles, citing information, data that you have found. You can't just pull numbers out of the air and say, this industry expects to have 140% growth over the next 3 years, and there aren't but 2 competitors in the region where I'm going to be operating. Okay, how do you know that? How do you know those facts? How do you know that it's going to be 140% growth? Where did that number come from? You need to document that. Put a footnote on the page, on that very page where you make that statement. Put a footnote about there's only 2 competitors. Where did you get that information from? Did you get it from a source at the library, a data source at the library? There's lots of business information about your competitors that you can find at libraries. Did you find it in the yellow pages? What is your source for saying that there are only 2 competitors in the region that you're going to be operating? So prove, cite as much as you possibly can. It's going to make your plan stronger. Some other examples here. Let's see. A lot of articles, web pages that cite information. The Census Bureau has a lot of data about the population, and you can find it in a variety of ways, by counties, by cities, by zip codes, states as a whole. It's broken down in a lot of different ways by by income, by education. There's tons of different ways that data is broken down, and so that's a good source for citing some of the information that you can include in your plan as well. Surprisingly, other government organizations, I had one here where I cited the CIA World Fact Book, and that may be one. Just take a quick look at that and see what all is contained in the CIA. It's CIA.gov /library/publications /the World Fact Book is where you can find that, and there's tons of information on a variety of government websites. So point is, cite, reference as much as you can to make your presentation stronger. Okay, so as you're working through this, as I said, please ask questions if there's something that you don't understand. I know that our time is limited here because you're going to be you have quizzes that you have to take for on the content within the textbook here. And I'm trying to be understanding of how much I'm assigning outside of that of those readings, but I know that you can do it. And if you ever want to start your own business, this is an activity that you need. That needs to be done, something whether it's now or later, and doing it in this setting where you receive a grade for it it just kind of pushes you to do that. So I know you can do it. I'm going to try to encourage you the best I can along the way and give you guidance, but ask questions of your peers as well, and read through the text. Seek out other sources online, as I've mentioned, and as we go through each of these sections, certainly the financial section and the marketing section, there are 3 or so chapters in the book on each of those, and so we'll get even more detailed about these different sections. This chapter really was just kind of give you an overview of what's going to come, and I'm looking forward to great things from all of you. Okay.